Hey, what's up everyone? It's Jimbo. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you the ultimate guide to detailing your engine. If you've ever been intimidated by cleaning under the hood or worried about damaging something, stick around because I'm going to show you just how easy and safe it can be. So we're going to be using a variety of tools, including my go-to product, which is the Super Soaper, a semi-touchless car wash soap solution that actually works wonders even on the engine. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more. And don't forget, everything will be linked below. So before we get started, it's important to make sure the engine is cooled to the touch. So a hot engine could be really dangerous and lead to potential issues. So I just do a quick pressure wash rinse with some cool water. And I'm going through with one of my favorite battery-operated pump sprayers as a pre-soak. So in this bottle right here, I use 2 ounces of the Super Soaper and a pump sprayer. The pre-soak is going to loosen up all the dirt and grime, and it makes the foaming step, when I get to that, much more effective. So make sure, you cover the whole entire engine bay. Be aware of sensitive parts, things like electrical connections, sensors, and the alternator are important to avoid over-soaking, but no need to bag them off. Always work with care around these areas, though, because they can be very sensitive. But honestly, modern engines are very, very watertight. So you do have a little bit more leeway. And with something like the Super Soaper, it's going to be a lot safer than like an all-purpose cleaner or anything like that. I don't suggest using Pure Magic Cleaner on the engine bay. Just don't like that. So now that foam has had some time to dwell and work, we're going to start foaming it up. This is 4 ounces in the foam cannon. This is also the Super Soaper, and this is just extra. We're working in layers, just like the exterior. The engine bay compartment can be the exact same. So we got the pre-soak going. Now we got 4 ounces, and now it's time to go in and start agitating the surfaces with a variety of different brushes. But we have that pre-soak working. I love the lubricity of the Super Soaper. I love that it can actually really clean surfaces. And then I go in with a bunch of different brushes, a detail brush for smaller areas, a larger, softer brush for broader surfaces. And this is really the step where you can really see the difference. So the Super Soaper, like I said, is helping to loosen the grime, and the brush is going to lift it away, have that encapsulation in the soap. But again, be especially gentle around those sensitive areas that we talked about earlier, like connectors and wiring. There's no need to go, all in on these areas. They're usually very small areas of the car. So just be aware and be sensitive of those. Again, making sure you hit the bottom of the hood, that makes a big difference too. The window crown, hard to reach areas, and just a variety of brushes will make this much easier to do. I will say, with using something like the Super Soaper, because it does have very good cleaning power, you don't necessarily have to hit every single area with the brush. And then later in the video, I'll show you when we dress it. The dressing is to make it look even better, but also to add a layer of protection, similar to what you would do on the exterior of a car with something like a paint protection. You want to do the same kind of thing on the engine compartment with a dressing to protect it and to make the next cleaning easier. So now it's time to rinse everything away. You don't need a lot of pressure here. I actually prefer a pressure washer over a garden hose because a garden hose will put a lot of water into it. So I do prefer a pressure washer, just a heavy mist, but you're really just looking for enough to wash away the foam and dirt. So just gently rinse it down. Top to bottom is a great method here, getting that little fabric piece there. And as you rinse, keep the water moving. You don't want to let too much water pool in any one area, especially around those sensitive components. And then once I fully rinse it and get everything off, I'll show you the one hack that I don't see a lot of people doing that has really served me well. I've never had an issue doing an engine detail like this, and I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of engines. But there's one tip coming up right after I get through rinsing all this that I don't see anyone do normally till later in the stage of the detail. But I happen to do it right after here, and I'll show you right now. That is this. I take the key and I go start the car right away. So starting the car right away, I forgot I had the key, but or I forgot I didn't have the key. So as I pick the key up, start the engine, and it gets everything flowing right away. This is a great hack just in case anything got into any areas that you didn't want it to. You can adjust, you can, kind of take care of that right away. So I like to start the engine immediately after I rinse it to get it back fired up. This also helps with drying. Then I take this to make sure everything is completely dry. This is the Ryobi blower. I have a dedicated video on this that I'll try to remember to link below. And this is a great way to get rid of excess water, especially in those tight areas where the towels won't reach. This step, along with starting the car, is crucial to avoiding any water that may be lingering or where it should be. Plus, it makes the next part much easier in drying. So I will go through with the Ryobi blower just to make sure, as the engine's on, to make sure nothing isn't where it shouldn't be, right? And it also speeds up the drying process. I like to do this before I ever wash the car. You can see it makes quite a mess onto the car. I'm using deionized water, but blowing out all the nooks and crannies, just like on the exterior of the car. This little blower really helps. And I know some people aren't like big fans of this Ryobi blower or whatever. They have their opinions, but a small compact blower like this is really perfect for an engine detail. After I blow it, I do like to go through with a towel still and just dry anything up. You could skip this step if you just want to let it drip dry. I think that's totally fine. Because I needed to dress this engine right away, I just went through and got any remaining water or dirt that may be lingering before I put a dressing on it and a protectant on it. So I'm just going through doing a quick wipe to get any loose dirt that I may have missed, but more importantly, any puddles of water that I may have missed, even with the blower. Sometimes with the blower, you just blow stuff to other areas. And so the towel is helping me to just pick up all those little areas because I wanted to kind of move the detail along, the engine detail along. So now that everything's dry, it's time to give the engine a nice fresh look. I'm using Jimbo's All Dressed Up, diluted 4:1 to dress the plastic and rubber components. This not only makes the engine bay look great, but it also adds that layer of protection that I talked about. Just a little bit goes a long way. This bottle does come concentrated, and you can use it full dilution. It's just going to be very shiny, so that's why I like it in a 4-part water to 1 part of All Dressed Up mixed in a bottle. A little goes a long way, but it does leave a nice matte finish that's not too shiny. Make sure you turn the engine off before you do this. You don't want the engine to get hot, just like I talked about before. And there's a couple ways you could go about this. You can spray it on. How I normally do it is I spray the entire engine with All Dressed Up, and then I let it dwell, and I will come back to it later. And so this is the part that I would, close the hood and do that. Or you can wipe it down if you have kind of dressing backed up in a lot of areas, which I do here. Again, I was on a bit of a time crunch. Normally, I like to spray it on and let it soak in all the way. Here, I rub in the big components, and then I come back later and check on it. And you can see how everything has leveled out perfectly. It's actually one thing I love about All Dressed Up is that it levels very nicely, especially at that 4:1 dilution ratio. So you could rub it in, you could let it dwell, whatever you want to do. Sometimes, again, depending upon how much time I have, I will just let it dwell, come back to it at the end of the detail, because pretty much nothing leaks out from the engine compartment. So it's totally safe and fine in there. And that's it. Here's a look at the engine detail after. This is what it looks like. And it was a massive transformation. The customer was super, super happy. And that's it. That's how you can detail your engine safely and effectively using the Super Soaper, a few brushes, and Jimbo's All Dressed Up. Of course, you can use whatever product you like. Again, I like the Super Soaper because it has a lot of encapsulations. It's not caustic at all, like sometimes a degreaser and all-purpose cleaner would be. But if you found this guide helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and leave a comment below if you have any questions, of course. And remember, you can pick up these products at jimbosdetailing.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.